Welcome to English Simple Hub.
It's great to be here.
I was looking through our materials for today, and something kind of terrifying jumped out at me. We think of the IELTS speaking test as just a conversation, right?
That's the single biggest mistake. People think, oh, I'll just go in and chat.
Exactly. But today's topic, trust, is the perfect example of why that's a trap. If an examiner asks, do you trust your neighbors? And you just say yes. Well, you've answered the question.
But you failed the test.
You failed the test. So our mission today isn't just to talk about what trust means. I think we all get that.
Right. The mission, based on this source material, is to crack the code. We need to find the high-level vocabulary, the collocations, and even the psychological tricks you need to turn a simple yes into a Band 9 answer.
We're going to break down the vocabulary of reliability, the dark art of talking about betrayal without going on for 5 minutes.
Which is a huge trap in part 1.
And then how to talk about trusting AI without sounding like you don't know anything.
And we're going to get to that slightly controversial strategy the source mentions, the truth loophole.
Oh, I love that one. But it feels a little risky. We'll get to it. First, let's start with the basics. The source says trust is a tricky topic. Why? It seems so simple.
Well, it's tricky because it's abstract. Part 1 questions are usually about things you can see, like your home or your hobbies.
Concrete things.
Exactly. But trust is a feeling. It's a concept. And the source points out that candidates just don't have the specific words, so they fall back on repeating trust over and over.
I trust him because he's a trustworthy person, so I have trust in him.
Exactly that. And that repetition is a score killer for a lexical resource. So the first step is to build what the source calls the vocabulary of reliability.
Okay, let's start with the core words. We have trust, the noun. But the source makes this distinction between two adjectives I thought was really interesting. Trustworthy and reliable.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, they're pretty much the same thing.
They're close, but this is one of those small differences that signals a high-level speaker. They're not always interchangeable.
So how does the source explain it?
Think of reliable as being about competence. It's about action. If you say you'll do something, you do it. You show up on time.
Okay, so my alarm clock is reliable. My car is reliable.
Perfect. But you'd never say your alarm clock is trustworthy. That word goes deeper. It's about character, about integrity.
I see.
The source uses the example of keeping a secret. A reliable person might remember to call you back, but a trustworthy person is someone you can tell that secret to.
Okay. So for a work colleague, I could say, he's very reliable. He always hits his deadlines.
Yes.
But for my best friend, I'd say, she's completely trustworthy. I can tell her anything.
That's the nuance. That's what gets you points. You're separating action from character.
Okay, let's move on to the verbs. We have to trust, obviously.
Yeah.
But the source suggests a more elegant-sounding phrase, to place your trust in someone.
It's a great collocation. I place my trust in my family. It sounds so much more active, like you're making a conscious choice. It's much stronger than just saying, I trust them.
Right. And then there's the idea that trust isn't static. It changes. The source talks about its life cycle.
And this is such a good way to extend your answers naturally. Instead of saying, I trust my brother, you talk about the process. The key phrases are to gain trust or to earn trust.
Trust is earned. That's the cliche, right?
It is, but it's a useful cliche here. So let's say the examiner asks, do you trust people easily? A Band 6 answer is something like, no, not really.
It's short. It answers the question.
It's fine. But a Band 9 answer uses that process language. Actually, I believe trust has to be earned. It usually takes a while for someone to gain my trust.
Wow, yeah. That's a huge difference. You've turned a simple no into a little comment on your personal philosophy.
You're describing the mechanism of the relationship, not just the static result. That is the secret sauce.
Okay, so speaking of relationships, let's jump to the next part. The really common question. Who do you trust most?
And the easy answer is my friends or my parents, which, is what most people say.
But we can do better. The source gives us this fantastic phrase, a circle of friends.
I love this phrase, my close circle of friends.
Why does that one word, circle, make such a difference?
Because it paints a picture. Friends is just a label. A circle of friends implies a structure, like a tight-knit group. It implies you're on the inside. It feels exclusive and strong.
It just sounds more natural, more idiomatic.
It does. And once you've established that group, you need to describe the level of trust. The source gives a good synonym here, to have faith in someone.
I have faith in them.
It's good. It shows variety. But then the source gives us the real Band 9 word, the magic key.
I have this one highlighted, implicitly.
I trust them implicitly.
Let's break that down. What does that actually mean?
It means absolutely, without doubt, without question, 100%. It's not I trust them most of the time. It's I trust them implicitly.
It is a powerful adverb. It can be a bit of a mouthful, though. Implicitly.
The stress is key. Implicitly.
So what if I'm nervous, my hands are sweating, and I totally mess up the pronunciation? Does that hurt me?
It could if the examiner can't understand you. So the source provides a safety net. If you're not confident, just use the phrase without question.
I trust them without question.
It does the same job, but, implicitly has that wow factor. It shows you can use adverbs to really modify the intensity of your feelings.
Okay, I want to pause here for a second. We've been on a happy side of trust, friends, faith, circles. But IELTS questions can get a bit dark sometimes.
Oh, yeah. The betrayal question.
Before we dive into that, I want to do a quick check-in with everyone listening. We're talking about global communication, and we know our community is truly global.
Absolutely. We see you guys from all over the world.
So if you're with us on this deep dive right now, just pause for a second, scroll down, and drop a comment. Which country are you watching from?
Yeah. Are you prepping in India? In Nigeria? In Colombia?
Well,
let us know. It's always so cool to see.
It really is. Okay, back to it. The dark side. Section 3. The question is, have you ever lost trust in someone?
This is a dangerous question.
Why? It sounds pretty simple.
Because it's an invitation to tell a long, dramatic story. And in part 1, stories are poison.
Right, part 1 is quick. Ping pong.
It's fast. If you start a 3-minute story about a messy breakup, the examiner has to cut you off. And getting cut off just throws you completely off your game.
So how do you answer a story question without telling the whole story? The source gives us a killer idiom for this.
Stabbed me in the back.
A classic. It's so visceral.
It really is. It doesn't mean literally, of course. It means a deep betrayal from someone you thought was a friend.
The source gives a great example. You tell a friend you're applying for a promotion, and then they secretly apply for the same one.
That's a perfect use case. But here's the real strategy. The source gives you a phrase to deliver this idiom quickly.
Long story, but yes.
Isn't that brilliant? You're literally telling the examiner, I know there's a big story here, but I also know the rules of this game and we don't have time. So here's the summary.
It signals that you have, high social intelligence.
Totally. It's a long story, but yes. A former colleague stabbed me in the back over a project once. I'm much more careful now.
Boom. Done. 3 sentences, you've used the idiom, answered the question, and you're ready for the next one.
And you move on.
But hang on. Here's the loophole part. What if I'm just a really nice person with great friends and I've never actually been stabbed in the back?
Then you lie.
You just lie. See, this is the part I find tricky. Won't they be able to tell?
How? The source is clear on this. The IELTS test is not a lie detector. It is a language test. They do not care about your personal drama. They care about your ability to express the idea of betrayal.
So if I just say no, luckily I've never lost trust in anyone, I'm being honest, but I'm throwing away the chance to use a high-level idiom.
You're sacrificing points for the sake of a truth that the examiner doesn't care about. Don't do it.
Is it hard to invent a story on the spot? I feel like it just frees up.
That's why you prepare. You have your fake betrayal story ready to go. You invent a terrible coworker named Bob. Bob is always there, ready to stab you in the back.
Poor Bob.
Bob is a necessary sacrifice for your Band 9. Seriously, you're not confessing your life story. You're an actor playing the part of a fluent speaker. This is just part of your script.
That's actually a very freeing way to think about it. You're performing, not confessing.
Exactly.
Okay, let's broaden out. Section 4, general trust and the future. The questions here get more philosophical, like what kind of people do you trust?
And the trap is to be way too general. I trust nice people. What does that even mean?
We're just listing jobs.
Yeah.
I trust doctors.
It's too simple. The source suggests a much more nuanced answer that shows balance. The model answer is something like, on the whole, I think most people are trustworthy, but I tend to be quite cautious.
Cautious. It's a great word. Careful.
And it links back perfectly to that idea of earning trust. I'm cautious. It generally takes a while to gain my trust.
That phrase, a while,
Mm.
it's so simple but sounds so much more natural than saying it takes a long period of time.
A long period of time sounds like you're reading from a textbook. A while sounds like a real person.
Okay, now for the really modern question. I bet this is coming up all the time now. Do you trust artificial intelligence?
This is a great curveball. It shifts from emotion to technology.
And the source gives us a fantastic attitude word here, cynical.
To be honest, I'm quite cynical about it.
What's the difference between cynical and, say, skeptical? I use skeptical a lot.
It's a great question. Skeptical means you have doubts and you need more proof. You're open to being convinced. Cynical is, well, it's darker. It implies you distrust the motives behind something.
So it's not just that you think AI might not work.
It's that you think the companies behind it are just pushing it for profit, regardless of the problems. It shows a much more critical way of thinking.
And the structure of the answer the source suggests is perfect for speaking. It starts with this little phrase.
In a word, no.
In a word, no. Now, the source puts a big warning sign on this one.
A huge one. Do not, under any circumstances, use this in your academic writing.
Why not?
It's far too conversational, it's colloquial, but for speaking, it's absolute gold.
Because it sounds authentic.
It sounds authentic, and it's a great little trick to buy yourself a second to think. Do you trust AI? You say, in a word, no. And in that pause, your brain is already formulating the next part of the answer.
Which is what? We can't just leave it there.
The source suggests reasoning that AI is based on processes and procedures. It's code. It's not a person with ethics. And because of that, you can say you're not entirely sure it's reliable.
Not entirely sure. Another one of those great hedging phrases.
Yes. It's so much better than, I don't know. Sounds like a gap in your knowledge. I'm not entirely sure. Sounds like a carefully considered judgment.
It makes you sound thoughtful, not ignorant.
Precisely. So put it all together. In a word, no. I suppose I'm quite cynical about it. It's all based on processes and procedures, and frankly, I'm not entirely sure they're reliable.
Wow, that is a power-packed answer. You get an idiom, a sophisticated attitude word, and a hedging phrase, all in, what, 2 sentences?
And that's density. Everyone is working for you, pushing you towards that band 9.
Okay, let's do a quick recap of this toolkit. We're not just hoping for the best anymore.
We have collocations like place your trust and earn your trust. We have the subtle difference between reliable for actions and trustworthy for character.
We've got the band 9 power word, implicitly, and its safer cousin, without question.
The more idiomatic circle of friends.
The tactical move for betrayal, long story but yes, followed by stabbed in the back. And of course, our imaginary evil coworker, Bob.
And for the modern questions, we can be cynical and use fluent phrases like, in a word, no.
That is a serious arsenal for what seems like such a simple topic.
It is. And before we wrap up, one last thing for everyone listening. We've thrown a ton of vocabulary at you.
A lot.
I want you to go down to the comments right now and tell us, which specific phrase from today are you going to try and use? Was it implicitly, or are you ready to be cynical?
Or you're already plotting a stab in the back story. Let us know.
I'm team implicitly. It just sounds so authoritative.
I think I'm going with cynical. It's just so useful for so many topics. So drop your favorite in the comments. We really want to see what resonated.
And remember, actually saying these words out loud is the key. Active use beats passive listening every time.
Absolutely. And if this deep dive was helpful, if you feel a bit more prepared to face that examiner, please subscribe to the channel for more IELTS podcasts. We're going to be tackling all the tricky topics.
Next up is crime. That one has some great idioms.
Oh, it does. So hit that subscribe button. Now, as we sign off, I want to leave you with one last thought.
We talked a lot today about that truth loophole, about making up stories to showcase your language skills. And it brings up a bigger, more philosophical question about what we're even testing.
Which is?
If the ultimate goal of language is to communicate an idea effectively, to be persuasive, well, isn't the ability to construct a convincing, detailed, fictional story on the spot actually the highest possible form of fluency?
So you're saying maybe the best speakers are actually the best liars.
I mean, we admire novelists as masters of language, and what is a novel if not an elaborate, beautiful lie? Maybe inventing Bob isn't cheating the test. Maybe inventing Bob is the test.
That is definitely something to think about. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you in the next deep dive.